They claimed she was overrated, that she was only a shooter, that she couldn't compete with the genuine ones, that she was simply hype, and that. One another media sensation. She needs to get acclimated to playing physically. This is no longer the Big Ten. Your name is irrelevant to the league. We will quickly humble you. She is being followed by cameras, but I'm not impressed. I don't think she's unique. There was a lot of contempt. It was loud during games, on social media, in interviews, and on podcasts. And Caitlin Clark listened to everything. Her drafting was not the beginning of it. Before she had even set foot on a WNBA court, the animosity had already existed. Caitlin Clark's own basket caused a heated exchange during a regular season matchup with Ohio State. With elbows flying and bodies crashing, she fought for a rebound in a packed court, doing everything she could to get the ball. Clark attempted to contest from behind, but Cody McMahon snatched it and went straight back up, scoring through contact. McMahon turned and pushed Clark to the ground as the whistle blew and the ball fell through the net. It wasn't included in the play. It wasn't required. It was annoyance. It was intimate. A clear and unambiguous message. The audience burst out. Colleagues hurried in. And there was a brief change in the atmosphere throughout the arena. Clark, though, she didn't respond. No resistance, no showmanship. As usual, she got up, straightened her jersey, and immediately resumed her activities. You would think that entering the WNBA would be a fresh start. New respect, new level, huh? False. The energy worsened, if nothing else. Kennedy Carter surprised her with a strong shoulder check off the ball a few games during the previous season. Just contact, no warning, no basketball move. The replay did not lie, but no foul was called at the time. Clark never participated in the online debate about whether it was filthy or not. She simply got back up, like she usually does. She has encountered naysayers at every level, from the largest arenas to college gyms. Additionally, she always reacts in the same way, with buckets rather than words, when someone tries to challenge her. However, this one was unique because Ryan Howard's blow to Caitlin Clark's face wasn't your typical cheap shot. The boiling point was that the arena reverberated with the sound of the impact. The fans were taken aback. Colleagues hurried in. And she didn't flinch, Clark. She got up, put on her headband as if nothing had occurred, and left. What followed wasn't only a reply. It was a declaration. Ryan Howard is more than simply a name on a roster. She is authentic. The year's top pick and rookie. A walking bucket with the self-assurance to support it. Long, athletic, talented, and unafraid. She is the type of player that accepts space without asking. Since the beginning, she has been in the forefront of the Atlanta dream. Additionally, she performs with a quiet edge, a serene intensity that suggests she doesn't need to speak. She doesn't have to say anything because of her game. She is not a drama queen. She causes harm. Therefore, it wasn't just another harsh foul when she struck Caitlin Clark in the face. It was not an outburst of annoyance. This was not like the others. A line in the sand, a tone setter, and you could sense the vibe of the building changing right away. It was tight, but not noisy. It was felt by all. Don't let the fact that it's a preseason game mislead you. The lights remain on. The cameras continue to record. The bar is already extremely high. Every night, Clark makes the headlines. She has a bullseye on her chest and pressure on her back, whether she wants it or not. The Fever are attempting to demonstrate that they are more than just hype, that they belong, and that Caitlin belongs, while the Dream are hoping to make an early impression. Furthermore, Clark isn't simply adjusting to her second season. She continues to go through the fire without elegance, without a safety net, and without any margin for error. Real-time analysis is being done on each touch, shot, and reaction. This contest goes beyond the preseason. Not this evening. No more. And everything changes after that hit. Momentum, feelings, games, everything. What comes next? Things start to get interesting at that point. Tension crackled in the air as the game began. First to strike was Indiana. After grabbing a board, Caitlin Clark made a difficult layup by cutting through Atlanta's transition defense and going coast to coast. Nothing sentimental, just business. She emerged from a screen during the subsequent possession. After her defender went down, she calmly emerged from the depths. Make a splash. The message was obvious already. She was confined. Tahina Powell of Atlanta responded by catching a pass close to the top and driving hard to the hoop, completing through contact for A&1. It was the sort of play that somewhat roused the dream. They required it. Indiana, meanwhile, was not slowing down. Aaliyah Boston sealed her defender and finished strong at the rim for A&1 of her own after Clark returned with a stunning, extravagant throw. The Fever were moving confidently and with rhythm. Clark ran off a pin-down screen to start the second quarter. Like it came naturally to her, she caught, set, and hit another three. After a few moves, she used a slick handle to take down her defender and cut the back door with a no-look laser that she aimed at Sophie Cunningham. Layup is simple. The lead blew up. The biggest of the evening in Indiana thus far. The Fever were ahead 26-16. They were doing it with faith, pace, and ball movement. Atlanta required an answer. With a clean three against easy coverage, Tahina Powell once again delivered, rising behind a pick and roll. Indiana, however, continued to execute. It was Sophie Cunningham's turn this time. When the defense faltered, she buried her first three of the game after taking a pass and curling into a handoff. At last, Atlanta's star appeared. Ryan Howard, who had been quiet until then, got a clear look on the wing and made a three-point catch and shoot. However, Clark seemed unfazed by it either. She stepped back behind the arc, blasted another three, danced with the ball, and smacked her defender with a string of crossovers on the subsequent trip down. She maintained the stance, believing she had been struck, but the referee ignored it. Didn't matter. Net hardly moved. Atlanta made an effort to gain some traction. For a seamless layup, Brianna Jones discovered Kimbrough cutting the back door. Then, after shaking her defender, Powell herself took a difficult step-back three. However, one thing was becoming evident as the first half drew to a conclusion. Caitlin Clark had a response regardless of how many times Atlanta punched. Clark's enthusiasm from the first half carried over into the second. She flew off a pin down, grabbed the ball by the stride, and cut right through the paint to get a scoop layup off the glass. Although it appeared effortless, it was anything but. She executed the pick and roll flawlessly on the subsequent descent, passing a pocket pass to Aaliyah Boston, who surged through for another bucket inside. It was rolling in Indiana. After then, it was time for Kelsey Mitchell to start working. She assessed her opponent from the outside, paused before hitting her, and then slid in for a clean finish at the rim. Even though the Fever's backcourt was playing brilliantly, Atlanta wouldn't go quietly. Calling for the ball and scoring with a difficult falling layup, Brianna Jones battled for a deep position beneath the rim. She used her left to finish through tight coverage after that with another post bucket. Indiana remained combative in response. After Sophie Cunningham's second-chance rebound kept the ball alive, Mitchell made a three-pointer. Ryan Howard then reminded everyone that she remained an issue. Making a catch and shooting three from deep while shakily bouncing off an off-ball lift on the pick and roll. Clark, however, responded with a play worthy of a highlight reel. After grabbing the rebound, she looked across the court and sent a full-court bullet pass to Dana Bonner as she was walking. There was a buzz among the crowd. The Dream made another attempt to chip away, this time with another three-pointer from Powell, but the Fever still led 63-57 at the end of the quarter. The fourth quarter then arrived, and Lexi Hull won it. It began with a straightforward handoff. She pulled up in the paint for two after curling up and taking one dribble. The next play down followed the same pattern, but she kept the ball, made contact, and finished with a layup and a foul. She was in full rhythm after getting up, getting a chest bump from her colleagues, and becoming revved up. The same thing happened after that. She executed a crisp jumper from the elbow after curling off a pin down and catching it in motion. Atlanta was unable to respond to her off-ball behavior. Another layup, another handoff, a few possessions later. Next, a pull-up jumper that is a handoff right inside the arc. Same action, same outcome. She was pounding a defense that was unable to match her timing and pace in addition to scoring goals. In the most methodical manner imaginable, Lexi Hull had taken control of the game. No forced shots, no heat checks, just unrelenting execution. Haley Jones' corner 3 gave Atlanta a last-second chance to tie the game, but it was too late. The door had been closed by Lexi Hull. Score at the end, 81-76. Fever prevails. The Dream believed they might frighten her. They believed that she may lose her game with a single heavy strike, but instead they started a fire that they couldn't extinguish. Caitlin Clark didn't blink from the first layup until the last buzzer. And Lexi Hull in and completed the task just when Atlanta believed they had her figured out. The team as a whole was awakened, not just Clark. What began as a dream message evolved into a reaction they weren't prepared for. The Fever gained control through play after play and possession after possession. Atlanta now leaves with more than a preseason defeat. They leave knowing that their attempt to transmit a message was unsuccessful. This was more than a game.